Alright guys, I am back with my review of this week's TNA Impact Wrestling for December 12th, 2013. And this one starts off with Rockstar Spud going to Georgia to find AJ Styles and bring back the world title. Then we see Jeremy Borash in the ring. He's talking about Feast or Fired. Kurt Angle comes out. He wrecks the place, calls out Bobby Roode. Roode comes out. They start brawling a little bit. The officials, the trainers, they all run down to split these two up. And Roode runs over and kicks Angle in the balls, and then everybody just backs off, while Roode cuts a promo right in Angle's face, and he challenges Angle to a 2 out of 3 falls match at Final Resolution. So then we get Eric Young and Joseph Park versus Bad Influence, and Joseph Park is getting his ass kicked. So Eric Young gets fed up with him. He says, "Put up a fight, do something," and he gets Joseph Park in a headlock and just punches him like 3 times in the head. Same punches you see in wrestling matches every single night. But this time, it busts Joseph Park open. I mean, seriously, busted him open. He's bleeding all over the fucking place. So these 3 punches cause all this blood to come out of Joseph Park's head, and he snaps. He destroys Bad Influence, hits the Black Hole Slam on Kazarian for the win, and afterwards Eric Young says, "The reason you can't find your brother Abyss," wait for it, "is because you are your brother Abyss." And Joseph Park is like, "No, that can't be." And then Eric Young leaves. That was it. There's really nothing more to say about that. So the positives are they're finally done with this whole Joseph Park Abyss thing. They're finally going to do something with it. There's going to be a resolution. It's over. They can bring back Abyss, the television champion, and all of that. However, trying to figure out the storyline and what this actually means, what is actually taking place here. I'm going back to Abyss when he was wrestling regularly, and I think his last match was against Bully Ray. His last match when he was always Abyss. So, Bully Ray beat up Abyss, and I guess he suffered so much mental trauma that he turned into the Joseph Park alter ego. However, when Bad Influence went to Chicago and found out that Park and Park went out of business like 13 years ago, that would mean Abyss was formerly Joseph Park, unless he really had a brother named Joseph Park who died. So let's just say Abyss used to be Joseph Park, right? And he suffered all this trauma fighting Bully Ray that he went back to being Joseph Park. So there's another thing that turned him into Abyss, but whatever. So he went back to being Joseph Park. And you could say the Abyss character, this alter ego, would show itself whenever Joseph Park was in trouble as a way to protect Joseph Park. But if that's the case, then why didn't Abyss show himself when Joseph Park was kidnapped by the Aces and Eights, turn into Abyss, and escape, kind of like Bruce Banner and the Hulk? And I know this is fucking ridiculous, and there is no reason anyone should put this much thought into this angle, but I can't help myself. I'm trying to wrap my mind around this, and I know when you have monster characters in wrestling like Kane, it's always a bad idea to try to use logic, but I just want some explanation here. But anyways, the positives are it looks like they're finally doing something with Joseph Park and Abyss. Rockstar Spud is lost in Georgia. He asks some guy for directions to AJ Styles' house. Then we see EC3 backstage getting a massage. He says his next opponent's going to cause social media to explode. EC3 comes out and says he's going to face Jeremy Borash. And Sting comes out, and he says that EC3 needs to enter Feast or Fired and actually do something noteworthy, or he can face him. And EC3 decides to enter Feast or Fired. And they could actually do something really cool with EC3. He could become a Legends killer. I mean, even though there's not really a lot of Legends for him to go through in TNA, but he could take out Sting and then maybe somewhere down the line take out Kurt Angle. But right now, TNA wants EC3 to be afraid to face anyone strong, and that's fine for now, I suppose. But then we get Gail Kim and Lady Tapa in the ring, and Gail Kim is waiting on her next opponent, and ODB comes out. But she says she's here to face Lady Tapa. And Tapa and Gail Kim beat down ODB, and Madison Rayne returns to fight them off. So Madison Rayne returned here, and I'm happy about this because the Knockouts division definitely needed more talent, and I like Madison Rayne. So Rockstar Spud goes to a bar looking for AJ Styles. He grabs a microphone and some redneck guy says, "That there microphone's used for singing." So Rockstar Spud sings God Save the Queen. They throw him out of the bar, but somehow he's still able to find AJ Styles' house. Then Dixie Carter comes out. She brings out Magnus and Jeff Hardy, and they talk about their match. Hardy starts chanting his own name again. They shake hands, and Dixie Carter invites them to her VIP table later on. And she says that their match is going to be a Dixieland match, which is a steel cage match, but after you climb out of the cage, you have to climb a ladder on the ramp and grab the title. So that is the main event of Final Resolution. Rockstar Spud breaks into AJ's house, and he finds the title, but AJ knows about this, obviously. He says that you can't do anything in my town without me finding out about it, and he kicks him out of his house. He actually says he was going to call the police or call some friends like Pulp Fiction, but then he just lets him go. Then we get Austin Aries versus Chris Sabin for the X Division title. I like this match. It was a decent match. Chris Sabin tries to use Velvet Sky here, but it backfires. Austin Aries throws Sabin into Velvet Sky, but he stops himself, and then Aries hits the Brainbuster on him. So I guess they're going to have Chris Sabin get pissed off at Velvet Sky or something later, but Austin Aries is the new X Division champion. So Chris Sabin is upset about losing the belt backstage, and Austin Aries walks by, and he's like, "You stole my belt, you used my woman to steal my title, and I'm going to bypass you and enter Feaster Fired and get a world title shot." And Austin Aries says, "You know what, that's a good idea, I'm going to do that too." And Sabin's like, "You're going to steal my idea? You already stole my belt. What's next? You're going to steal my woman?" Why would he jump to that? That was really weird. So Austin Aries is like, "You just keep giving me good ideas." It was really fucking bad. So Mr. Anderson comes out for the Feaster Fired match. He does this thing, the Mr. Anderson thing, and Bully Ray attacks him from behind, pile drives him on the stage. Then he quotes Motley Crue, and he says, "Your wife is pregnant with twins, and I'm going to make sure I decide their futures." Then we get the Feaster Fired match, which was a fun match. I liked it, especially Norv Furnham and Dewey Barnes. Those guys were awesome in this match. A lot of dives. Austin Aries hits a 450 on Barnes and Furnham. But the briefcases go to EC3, Zema Ion, Chavo Guerrero, and the last briefcase James Storm is about to grab, but Gunner screws him over and grabs the briefcase. I mean, technically he didn't screw him over. That's the rules of the match. But he turned on his partner here, kind of like Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes. So Gunner gets the last briefcase. And they don't announce the winners on this show, but I would assume that EC3 is going to get a world title shot. Zema Ion gets an X Division title shot. Gunner gets the tag titles, and Chavo Guerrero will be fired. So that's just my predictions. But the show ends with Dixie Carter at her VIP table, and Jeff Hardy goes to meet with her. And that was the end of the show. But overall, I thought this was a pretty good Impact. I liked Aries versus Sabin. I liked the Feaster Fired match. And I'm glad. I didn't really like the way they did the Joseph Park Abyss thing, but I'm glad it's coming to a close. So anyways, that's my review of the show this week. Hope you guys liked the video. Leave your thoughts on this week's show in the comments, and thanks for watching.